honestly, if conservatives want to see more people get married, you gotta fucking rework these fucking bullshit laws.
You want to make it easier for them to get divorced. Basically, it's what you're asking conservatives to do.
No, actually, if there was less of a financial incentive for women to get divorced, perhaps they'd be less likely to do it.
So you're going from like the male perspective. You want to make it easier for men to want to get married and less convenient for women to want to get married. Because you're basically saying
it's less convenient for a woman to marry the man she loves because she stands to get less in a divorce. Is that your argument?
No, because why would a woman feel comfortable to become a stay-at-home mom if she knows she's going to be left in the dust if something happens?
How about this? I'll grant you that in certain scenarios where if she genuinely like gives up her career to get married, then there's certainly a case, and to raise children, and she would have otherwise elevated in the corporate world or whatever, and she would have been earning this much, but she didn't. I think there should be some calculus, some sort of mathematical analysis on the basis of what she would have earned, because it's crazy in his situation where you take a hairdresser and he's made her a millionaire.
Well, but
that's ridiculous.
You can't know if she because didn't you say you started off? You both started off with not. I think you said that, right?
Yeah, I was very poor.
Right. So she started off maybe not the same, but like in similar circumstances, and who knows if she might not be likely, but she could have eventually become something big too. Gotta empower women. Just because we're women, we can't do big things.
Nickelodeon donated $100.
Oh, this is a good
Guess
one.
how many
Nick,
of the top 10 women billionaires are self-made?
Or Google this.
Most are from divorce or inherited. Men value love. Women love value.
Interesting. That's good. Nickelodeon, that's a good one. Okay, wait. So I actually going back to one of my earlier conversations with I was asking, so what do men get from marriage that they can't get from a long-term monogamous committed relationship? And I think you said, well, the stability of the relationship.
Correct.
And I was making the point before TTS came in that, well, is it more stable for the relationship? Because I would argue that it could actually be more stable for the relationship to not give women this big incentive to get divorced, which is a financial incentive. So the incentive for her to stay in the divorce, mind you, 80% of divorces are initiated by women, would be to continue receiving the provider benefits of her husband.
To be clear, I don't think that women should take advantage of a divorce and like intentionally steal amount of money, but I do think that those.
Do you think his situation was fair?
I don't
You'd
know
have to
enough.
review the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, you don't think, well, that may be all well and good, but let's say there's a perfectly innocent and well-intentioned and perhaps naive woman. Divorce is a rather complicated legal process, isn't it?
Sorry.
Is divorce a complicated legal process?
Of course.
Do you need an attorney for that?
Usually, yes.
Okay. Now, let's assume she's even a Christian woman, a devout Christian woman, but let's assume her attorney isn't. What's the purpose of an attorney? To make money, right? Like as a career path.
Basically. Yeah.
They're desirous of making money. Now, question for you. I don't know if it's like billed hourly. Is there ever a scenario where like the more money, like the attorney can get some of the money?
Yeah, so they generally will work on either contingency, where they take a third of everything, or they bill you hourly against a retainer.
But so in divorce proceedings, they can work on contingency.
So if I had my own attorney and she had her own, which that's not the path we went down.
Right. Okay.
Then her attorney would have taken a third of her settlement.
So the attorney has a financial incentive to siphon as much money from you as possible.
Yeah.
And additionally, if you did have an attorney, you would have had to pay for her attorney and your own attorney, correct?
Yeah, because all the funds.
And then their billable hours, the more hours they work, they can bill if they're being paid hourly. So then, even if the woman that you marry is a devout Christian woman, if she goes to an attorney whose job it is to siphon as much money as possible from the husband, and who perhaps is unscrupulous in their lawyering, well, you get fucked anyways, regardless of how pious or
Well, I'm not
devout
saying that's a
your
good
wife
thing.
is.
I'm not saying I support that system. It's unfortunate, but like I just think the underlying issue is that people are going into marriage thinking what can they get out of it, and a real loving marriage is about what can I give to this other person. And I think that's why, I mean, our culture is so self-focused. That's like it's honestly sad. Like I asked someone like, what is your purpose? They're like, I don't know, I guess just pleasure. And so we're seeing like this in marriages, people are getting divorced because it's all about them, and it's not about, and I'm not saying you should stay with someone that's abusive, but I do think that this self-focused culture is contributing to higher divorce rate, or just people not even getting married at all, because it's all about what they can get out of life and what they can get out of the other person, instead of what unconditional love can they show to them. And so
There's no such thing as unconditional love.
Just gonna say that.
There's
Well-
no such thing.
from God there is, but
I was about to say God. Don't forget about God.
Okay.
Jesus
On-
died for the people that killed him. So
On the earthly plane.
Yeah, and then he sent them straight to hell. So I don't know how much I want to be loved by
he
that.
offered them eternal life.
Wait, so just to bring it back to the original argument. So your position was that marriage incentivizes, it makes it harder to get divorced, or it makes it harder
And I
to
don't
split
support
up.
I know that the divorce process is messed up. I'm not saying I agree with all of that, but I do like that there are systems in place that discourage you from getting married, or from getting divorced. Sorry, not getting married.
No, but it doesn't really discourage women at all.
Well-
Perhaps the process is more complicated, but if there's a financial incentive,
Well,
to
I don't think there
divorce-
should be a financial incentive.
There
Like
is,
I don't
though.
like if a woman is a stay-at-home mom, even if she's going to make a little bit of money out of it, I don't think she's going to want to get out of a marriage if it means she's going to have to go to work for the rest of her life.
Like I get
they
what
do all the
she's
time.
saying, though.
Women initiate.
And I think
The
that's
overwhelming-
bad. Like if a woman is trying to abuse a divorce, that's terrible, and we should do more.
But
than
let's say
that.
let's say the woman isn't even, she still has amicable feelings towards her soon to be ex-husband. She's going to get a lawyer
Who's
who
gonna have issues.
and
Right,
then
that's wrong
and
too.
not only that, if we're talking about religion, when it comes to divorce, your religion is not going to the religion is not going to oversee the divorce. The state does.
Right. But and again, I'm not saying that it's good that anyone is being taken advantage of, whether it be by the legal system or by the wife. Either way, it's bad. I just think that there should be something in place to give women financial security so that they can sleep at night in their marriage and not have to worry about their husband waking up in the morning and leaving them and never seeing them again, and not.
I mean, that's far more rare than women leaving.
I'm not saying it isn't, but I think that either way, it's wrong either way. And that's why marriage is great, is because when I get married in July, I can go happily to sleep every night and not have to worry that my husband will just leave me.
Does your husband have money?
Yes, I mean.
Are you signing a prenup?
No.
Sign it. Get it.
But also, it's not that marriage as an institution or as a culture is the problem. If you look at like different countries, like I don't know, like Iran, India, or different like countries that do have like the same cultural emphasis on marriage and staying in those committed relationships, you see a lot lower divorce rates. And I'm not saying that like all the relationships that do stay married are perfect. I'm just saying that the cultural aspect, social media, and the way people are just like interacting and what is cool and what is hip, or like normalizing divorces even in like TikTok and like media, is kind of like the root cause of everything. So it's not that. So I think that's why I think like her and her husband will probably be very successful as a couple, because they probably don't really are not influenced by like the media or like the ways culturally in the 2024.
Well, we can check in 20 years and see how it's going. But
I'll come back.
and we're talking a lot about women's security. What about men's security? Men are so often ignored in this conversation. But yeah,
So what
boys,
do you need
don't
for
get
your
married.
security?
Don't get married. What?
Like, what are your security requirements? Like, what is it that?
Oh, my
like,
security
if
is
you
us
were
not
gonna
getting
marry
married.
A woman.
We're not getting. That's my security.
So what are you
no
looking
marriage.
for in a relationship? Just like bullet points.
What, like, that's a totally.
Not marriage.
Yeah,
That's a
no,
great
thank you.
dating
I'm
talk.
just like, the reason why I'm asking you is like, because I'm pretty sure whatever you list, like some of it you would want some kind of security on it. Maybe it's a monogamous like intimacy partner. So
And
that's,
how does marriage guarantee me any of those things?
like I said, it doesn't guarantee it. You can still get divorced, but it's kind of like an honor system, or like the way it's like.
Honor system.
It deters
It's
you
like-
from getting divorced.
It's not that it guarantees
No,
it, but
here's
you
what-
know,
okay.
it's just the way people feel.
deters
When they're
men.
Like, oh my gosh, I got
no,
married,
no,
and
no,
they
no.
feel more committed into it than somebody else.
It deters women too.
No,
like a lot of women, like
no.
outside of the financial reasons, a lot of people don't want to get divorced because it's
Like
it's awkward.
reputation
Like no
or
one wants. Like
Yeah,
it's
It's
social
awkward.
stigma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
stopping a lot of
and
the
I'm not necessarily
awkwardness.
saying we should shame divorced people, but like there
Yes.
is like
The pomp and
Are you saying we should?
circumstance of having like a wedding and like your family and friends show up,
Right,
like it's a
especially
whole thing.
reputation-wise, because
yeah,
like
it creates
Yeah.
a community to support a marriage, and it is uplifting and it's good.
Like, let's just say you were in a relationship and it was everything you want, just not a marriage.
Mayor Otten donated $100.99. Sorry, also Woos was my wife, Brian.
What? That is a
Okay.
Okay.
Woos, is that like a song or something? I mean, sorry, man. I'll take a look at it on my
My
end,
wife.
but I
I
might
was
not be
thinking
able
the
Right,
to.
same
if you even if you don't get like married and stay eyes, if you like found yourself in a committed relationship, would you like want like a fake wedding where like it's not anything,
wedding?
like where you're
like
like
a ceremony.
pledging yourself to
That's so
someone?
expensive.
How much
But
is
it's
that?
it's just-
50,000? No,
You could
I'm
do a
good.
cheap wedding.
What's a cheap wedding to you?
And it's subjective, but I mean, you could do one for like $100.
You go to Vegas.
Go to Vegas.
Yeah, you go to
That's just-
Vegas. But like,
It's not.
or do a fun one.
Save your money.
No,
Have you
not
been to
insanity.
weddings? They're amazing. They're fun. You can come to mine if you want. Just kidding.
Oh my God, he's invited.
nah, probably
You can come.
not
There
after
won't
our
be any
little back
abortion
and
tools,
forth.
I promise.
Wait, there won't be any what?
There won't be any abortion tools, I promise.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Probably.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say I don't know.